Welcome to Motoring World TV. It's a new year, 2024, and we are happy to kind of look at what happened in the auto industry last year. Like I said, my name is Rotimi Asha.
And my name is Femi Uwei, and we are going to be looking at the good, the bad, the ugly, because as far as I'm concerned, the auto industry last year, the last 1 year has not been clever enough.
Yeah, definitely not clever. I mean, just notice that we didn't really have so many car launches and there was silence in that area. So no activities, not much activities.
Very unusual. I
Yeah.
mean, can you imagine? For a whole year, from January to December, I could not count up to 3 car launch in the country. In the country where we say we have auto industry, we have locally assembled vehicles. Nothing. It was so quiet. It was so silent. Yes, the election was loud. And after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was sworn in, yes, we started hearing about gas-powered vehicles, commercial vehicles, but the beneficiary are mainly, few auto assemblers who assemble gas-powered buses. And we are talking of patronage only from government. Is that enough? Is there
So
anything to write home about?
yeah, really. But I was thinking, last year was election.
Mm.
Well, I don't know if I'm right anyway. Could it be that a lot of auto companies were waiting for the election? That's why there were no activities.
Well, let's call a spade a spade. This, you know, there's a proverb in Yoruba. They said, the person carrying a load, that your load is bent. And the answer, they said, why don't you look at my feet? Amokun eru ewo sale. That's a Yoruba proverb. So this thing happened from, the beginning, the foundation. And what are we talking about? The auto industry, the auto policy itself. The foundation has been wrong, has been faulty. And this started from the previous administration. We are talking about President Jonathan, President Goodluck Jonathan. It was during that regime that, in their wisdom, those who are working with him, they attempted to resuscitate the Nigeria auto industry by coming up with what was known as National Auto Industry Development Plan. It was sent to the National Assembly then, and it was passed into law. But for some reasons, those who don't want this country to move forward in terms of industrialization make sure that the man did not sign it into law. Okay, President Buhari came into power, and I was at a conference that time when the Minister of Industry then, Mr. Enalema, he assured the
Yeah,
stakeholders.
just remind
You
me of that
remember?
now. I remember
We
that.
were at the conference.
Yeah,
They
sure.
call it economic conference.
Yes, I was there.
So he assured on behalf of the federal government that the NAIDP will be passed into law and that the stakeholders will be carried along. That was 2016. 2017, the National Assembly passed it into law again. But that was it. The thing was locked away. It was actually sent to the presidency. But this bill was locked away in presidency till the next election, 2019.
Yeah, 2019.
So can you imagine a bill as important as that? That was what happened. And somebody was appointed again as Minister of Industry from
I was going to say that because that was, what really shot the auto policy, the NEIDP bill, because it's like the wrong person was brought in as the Minister of Trade and Industry. So
I agree with you. It was a wrong person, even though it was the first executive civilian. What do we call it now? The first civilian executive governor of Ekiti State, in person of Otumba Niyi Adebayo. He was appointed as the Minister of Industry, and the first thing that was done under his under his regime was to suspend the auto policy. And the industry was slammed with what we call Finance Act. When people hear Finance Act, you'll be thinking of finance, money, and all that. But they made sure that they added this act that was meant to nail the auto industry or the NAIDP in coffin by reducing the import duties on new vehicles. You know, in NAIDP, part of the content is that in order to encourage local production of vehicles, to encourage Nigerians to buy locally made vehicles, there was an increase of up to 70% of duty on imported FBU, that is fully built up vehicles. But this bill, this act was made to reduce all this, which contradicted what the NAIDP was, the purpose it was meant to serve.
Yeah.
So that was it. And that was the beginning. And funny enough, the entire thing was suspended and nothing was said about this until close to the 2023 election. So you look at 2017 to 2023, count it, 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 6 years. 6 years. That's the problem. So if last year...
That's really unfortunate.
Yes.
That a bill that should have, brought life into the industry.
Exactly.
They failed to legalize it.
Exactly. And there is something that happened. Ghana, they just picked our NAIDP, just changed some words in it, the names, and use it in their own country, pass it through their parliament, and their president signed it straight away, and they had it.
Because they saw it was something good.
Yes, and OEMs started going there. Volkswagen went there, Toyota went there to set up a manufacturing plant.
And in seriousness, it's a shame what's happening in this country.
It's a shame.
Ghana came to our country and picked our NAIDP plan.
Yes.
Without amending anything because they saw it was good.
Yes.
And they took it to the assembly, they passed it to law, the president signed it.
Yeah.
And today they have a very thriving auto industry. And here we are, stagnant. Our industry is stagnant.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. And I hope that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because it seems he has been putting the round peg, the round holes in many of the appointments, but it is a hope that very, very soon, because hopefully he's going to listen to this voice of reason that is coming out of Motoring World International, that this is what needs to be done. Stop listening to, as his predecessor, they should stop listening to these vehicle importers, people whose vehicle import maligned and killed our industry in the 70s and 80s when we had Peugeot and Volkswagen. In fact, the local content of Peugeot and Volkswagen that time had risen as high as 45%, 35%. We were actually manufacturing vehicles. I remember those days, you could buy a Peugeot car, brand new, the one they call Tiaroba in Nigeria.
Yeah,
you could buy for 5,000 naira. And Volkswagen Beetle for 2,500. Nobody was using Tokumbo.
Yeah.
Nobody was using these fairly used vehicles. But the whole thing started going down the slope when they opened the door for the likes of Toyota, which were not produced here. But do you know why they were cheaper? Because the manufacturers over there in Japan, they produce in millions. And the more, just like printing, the more you produce in the auto industry, the more car you produce, the less, the lower the unit price, because the lower the cost. That is why. And until we allow our own locally produced vehicles we allow the volume to increase to a level at which prices will come down and it will become as affordable as the Tokumbo vehicles, then this country is going nowhere. Our auto industry will have nowhere to go.
What you're saying is, without the NAIDP plan being, legalized, we'll continue to have a very terrible thing in the auto industry.
That's true. And do you know, there was a time, there was a program being done, being carried out by Mercedes Benz, which I think we attended that event, and we spoke to one of their officials. Why are they not setting up plants in Nigeria?
Yeah,
You know what
I
they
remember.
said? They didn't even talk about infrastructure. They said they were afraid of policy somersault. That if you don't have the our auto policy, I mean NIDP, passed into law, signed by the president, that they believe that any administration can come and just introduce anything. And as if they were prophesying, look at what happened, the year 2020 Finance Act.
Yes.
If the NIDP had been signed into law as far back as 2017-18 by President Buhari, that would not have happened. Auto industry would have been blooming by today, and a lot of jobs will have been created.
What you're saying is because we are looking at the auto industry last year in 2023.
Yeah.
There was so much silence. So what we're saying, essence, what's actually responsible is because the auto policy, that is the NIDP bill,
Yeah.
has not been passed into law. That's why
right.
there was kind of silence.
Yeah, because it is said that where there is no law, there is no sin, and where there is no law, there will be chaos. That is why anybody can do whatever they like. They can come up with any policy, they can come up with anything, because it was not in the constitution. It is not passed into law. It's just like federal road safety. When it was created and it was not yet in the constitution, they even merged it into the police at some point.
Yeah,
And there were moves to even kill that body until it was passed into law and it entered the legal code of the country. It's the same thing with the auto industry. If that is not done, we will continue to talk and just be talking of electric vehicle today, gas power vehicle tomorrow, this and that today, and some people will come and launch vehicle and all that. Nothing will happen.
Do you think that's also still responsible for lack of foreign exchange last year? Because I met one or two stakeholders and they were telling me they were not able to get foreign exchange for their kids.
Yes, it's because we import virtually everything. We import so many vehicles, and because of that Finance Act of 2020, that encouraged more Nigerians to buy imported vehicles, both new. I mean, look at what happened at the National Assembly. That's a story for another day. National Assembly. If that policy had been in place, National Assembly would not have gone as far as buying imported Toyota bulletproof vehicles at 160 million naira per unit, and they pay in dollar.
Those guys were not really. We need to let them. You see, National Assembly members want to let you know that you're not patriotic. I mean, the people voted you there, but you're not doing the right thing. How will you use our hard-earned money to buy foreign-made vehicles when we have locally assembled vehicles here? I mean, that's very disappointing.
I think
very, very disappointing.
I think we should leave that story for another day, because if I'm to talk about it now, that will take the whole of this program. It's sickening. It's sickening. It's not something that let's leave that for another day. But all I just want to put forward today, and that we are putting forward, is that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the newly appointed NADDC Director General right now, who is from my meeting with him at the last Niger Award, he sounded calm. He wasn't surrounding himself with security guards like his previous. He wasn't behaving as if he was going to be shot. He wasn't running away from interview. He wasn't running away from journalists. So there's possibility that he knows what he's doing. And also, he's from the industry. He's a stakeholder. So he knows the problem of his people. So he has no choice. Yes, he has no choice than to push this policy with the president. Once he signed it to law, whatever they have done to that policy, once it's signed to law, that will change a lot of things. Even the president stakeholders.
Look, we have to let him know that if he doesn't push a policy,
yes,
before he leaves there, he's a failure.
Oh, of course, he has failed, just the way Jelani failed. Jelani failed. He came, he saw, he drew. He came from America as an artist, and he came here and he was encouraging drawing. That's not what auto industry need. We need a manager, and you cannot manage when there is no NEIDP. That is the beginning. That is where to start from, and I hope they are listening.
Thank you very much. On that note, we draw the curtain on our discussion on the NEIDP bill. So until we come your way next time, have a wonderful day.